Hello everybody, I'm Chris. Welcome to Lore Spire. Just doing another Q&A, chat and chill, playing some Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous session here. Gonna be picking up where I left off last night, towards the end of the Grey Garrison. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. That's mostly why I'm here. I do not have the answers to everything, but I'll try to help you out even if I don't know. Anyways, just let me know what's up, and I'm gonna get to moving here. Actually, did I not save the game last night? Because we were further along than this. I guess I didn't. So we're gonna be backtracking and doing one of these battles over again. Hey, what's up, Random? What's up, Matthew? How are y'all doing tonight? Good, I hope. Frustrated. Well, that doesn't sound good. Is it something to do with the game, or are we talking about RL stuff, or what?
Rely on me. Who, me?
I'm not sure exactly what you mean. What do you mean by you're only getting 1 point? Like your spells are only doing 1 point of damage? Because just about every spell should do more than that.
Might be trap, might be treasure. Pretty good, aren't I? Fine.
I knew I should have ran them across one at a time. Does Scorching Ray let them save? I can't remember. It's been too long since I've looked at the description for it. I thought Scorching Ray was just a touch attack. Actually, yeah, I think you're right. A reflex save halves the damage. But even if it's halved, you should be doing a lot more than 1 point of damage. Yeah, I don't know why your spells would only be dealing 1 point of damage other than a bug. I mean, even at level 1, your spells should be dealing more than 1 point of damage most of the time. What level are you? And what spell are you using, or what spells are you using? Maybe if I know the specific spells, that might help. Are you in the very beginning of the game, like in the beginning caves? Because if you're in that area, 1 point of damage, might be all right or normal. But unless you're at the very extreme beginning, spells don't really get that strong until you get some levels under your belt and get some higher level spells. The level 1 spells are pretty low damage. Oh, that's a good point, Random. Yeah, if you're using cantrips, then cantrips are like super low damage. That would be like, oh, let me bring it up.
My unbiased opinion?
Like, whenever you look at your spell book here, if you're using 0 level spells, like Ray of Frost, you can see it does 1d3 points of cold damage. So that means you will be dealing either 1 damage, 2 damage, or 3 damage whenever you use this spell. Okay, which spells are you using though? You said cold damage, so are you using Ray of Frost, or are you using Snowball? Because I don't think Snowball's a whole lot better. Yeah, spells don't really start getting more damage until you get like level 3 spells, level 3 spells and up, which depending on your class will be like around level 5 or 6. If you're using level 0 spells, the cantrips here, or even level 1 spells, like Burning Hands or Snowball, most of those are going to have at least a chance to only do 1 damage. That's why with a caster, if you put on like a crossbow, a lot of times it can be better just to use a crossbow and auto attack if you're a spell user in the early levels. And I find that I usually get more damage out of that than using cantrips. Okay, then yeah, Matthew, you just need to get to a higher level. I mean that's normal. Casters start out a lot slower, but they do become really powerful as you gain levels. But at the very beginning, yeah, their damage is not good at all. Thanks, Random. That was a good catch there. I didn't even think about you being a lower level like that. Just try using a crossbow until you get some better damage spells. And then try to, I don't know, I usually save my better damage spells for tougher fights, don't just burn them on regular enemies. Otherwise, you'll have to rest all the time.
Can we retreat already?
There, let's try there.
Cover me, all right?
And that was not the best spot to put that pit.
Mind over muscle.
Maybe it's gonna work out okay though. Hey Matthew, if you're talking about if you're using like ray spells and you're talking about missing a lot with those, then you want to use you want to get like point blank shot, the same archery feats. If it requires a touch attack like that, the feats that are good for archers will also give you a higher chance to hit with your ranged touch attack spells. Now, point blank shot does affect spells too, as long as they're ranged touch attack spells. But yeah, spell focus, if you're not using ranged touch attack spells, is pretty much a must and what I usually get first on my casters. Even if I'm using ranged touch attacks, I still get that first because you won't really get any good ranged touch attacks until later. I usually try to keep my casters well out of combat so that I don't have much of an issue with that. But I guess if you're having an issue with that, then combat casting is good. Ooh, I picked up a belt somewhere.
I will help where I can.
Didn't know what the point blank shot works for ranged touch spells. Um, don't feel, I mean, I've known it, but I had to look it up to make sure whenever I figured it out because I wasn't sure either. But I went on the forums and found out that it does. So yeah, like if you're making like an arcane trickster build or I don't know, like a winter witch or elemental witch or something like that, where you're using a lot of rays, then yeah, you'll probably want to use that point blank shot. I mean, it's not necessary if you have a high enough dexterity, um, but it does help, especially if your dexterity is not that high. Yeah, random. I could see where using cone spells and like those shorter range AoE type spells, then yeah, you're probably going to be finding yourself um, threatened in melee combat more often. So yeah, that definitely makes sense. You know, and combat casting would definitely be useful in that situation for sure. I just like to keep my casters usually like back out of the way and stick with the longer ranged stuff. Oh man, I didn't fight that guy yet, did I? Because I took the shortcut. All right, well, let's go. And we get this little semi kind of comical attempt at comedy anyways scene that you get if you chose the Trickster Mythic Path option earlier. Matthew, I mean, that Do you have any constitution at all? I mean, I guess you don't need constitution, but it's pretty helpful. Especially if you're playing on higher difficulties, because traps and AoE damage can kill you if you don't have enough life. I don't know, you might try like 14 charisma and use those extra couple of points that you get from going down to 14. Put those into constitution. Because you only get a bonus for even number of stats. So you'll get these same bonuses from 14 charisma that you get from 15 charisma, at least on your spell DCs. And like your skill checks and whatnot. Well, if you want your character like in the fight where they're likely to be taking damage, then I would definitely suggest adding some constitution. Why don't you try something like 14 charisma, 14 dexterity, 20 int, and I think that would give you like 6 points left over that you could try to put into 6 or 8, maybe 8 points left over that you could put into constitution. And as an Arcanist, charisma is definitely helpful, but it's not necessary to have a super high charisma score. One thing you don't need as an Arcanist is strength. So if you need some more points, lower your strength down to 7, and then you can take those 3 extra points and you can put them into either charisma or constitution to get your stats up a little bit higher. Oh, it's only 2 HP at the beginning, but it's more than that later. And the later you get in the game, the more important fortitude saves become. But maybe I should have spoke better and said more hit points and more and a higher fortitude save. I think that's better than having 15 charisma over 14 charisma anyways. Yeah, the longer you play the game and go through the game, the more important fortitude saves become. From what I could tell in my playthrough, fortitude saves seem to be the most common that you have to make, at least once you start getting to like the late mid game. And it can be pretty negative if you don't make them. Hey Albert, how are you doing tonight? You finished your playthrough yet? Oh, if that's what you want to roll with, Matthew, I mean, that's definitely your choice. Personally, I would like to have the Constitution a little bit higher Did you lower your strength? Because you can always grab a couple of points there to put into your constitution. Nice, nice. I take it was everything that you hoped it would be then, Albert?
Did we find trouble? No, they did.
Nice, nice. So I take it your next playthrough is an Azada then, so you can go for that secret ending. I finally got through Act 4 today after that patch ruined my saves. So I finally got through Act 4. And I got all of that recorded, so I just need to edit it and whatnot, which is a lot to edit. But I plan on putting out a video explaining Alushanera and how to kind of navigate it and get through it, because it's a cool place, but it can definitely be annoying, especially if you don't understand how it works. That sounds good, Matthew. Yeah, 14 should definitely be good. All right, now we got the key.
Together, we stand.
We should be able to get through here and get to the end. Oh, okay. I thought you had said yesterday that you had to use the Azada. I guess I'm misremembering. I don't know. I don't know anything about the secret ending. I haven't looked into it or anything yet. The playthrough I'm doing now, I'm just trying to get to the devil, which I think I'm getting pretty close to where I can become a devil.
We are the light. They are the darkness.
And I'm trying to find the last of the Lexicon of Paradoxes. I haven't found that yet, but I'm sure I'll come across it. I have the first two.
So this is how it feels.
All right, Matthew. Woo! Take over that world. Be its master.
Don't mind me.
Open your heart to me.
Open your heart to me. Takes on a whole new meaning once you know.
Yes.
Mm. Oh, okay. That's cool. I mean, yeah, I'll be back here again for sure. So if you got any questions or anything, just write them down and ask, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. What's I doing here? All right, formation.
A bright future awaits us.
Did I check that? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Why did you drag me here, you wench? To mock me one last time? Go on, finish me! Drink my blood, devour my soul! Just get on with it. Let me die.
That's interesting to know, Albert. Yeah, I rejected it too because she said that it would give her access to my mind to be able to control me.
I'm sorry.
And
My offer still stands.
she promised never to use it, but
Away from here,
somehow I just did
you
not
will
trust her.
rule Dresden as a king, and
So yeah, I
will
definitely
be
rejected
your
that.
queen. Alice, dearest.
Get back! Ah!
Curse it!
Oh, good luck with that. I haven't found any way to attack my own party members. So... Actually, that's not true. I think you can attack them by charging them. So yeah, maybe you can find out by doing that. Use masterwork. No. Still 100 gold though. Pretty much all glaives are masterwork in this game. Or better. Yeah, you can use an AoE spell too, of course, that's true. What I like and don't like about the game, Matthew, mostly the only thing that I don't really like about the game is the city building and the campaign battles, like the whole campaign part of it. I don't very much like that. It's very time consuming. The auto resolve option does not function very well at all. You'll usually lose battles when you auto resolve that you can easily win if you do them yourself. Yeah, I don't really like that whole aspect of the game, but just about everything with the adventuring, the role-playing, the writing, I mean, I can nitpick stuff, whenever you get to Alushanira, the way that you move the buildings and navigate that place is kind of clunky and annoying. So, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I really like the pace that the game keeps outside of the campaign battles. And the writing, the companions are done, like, written really, really well. Almost all of them. So yeah, there's a lot to like here. The mythic paths really do make you feel powerful. The Azadas is a little more hippie-ish than what I like, but it's still not badly done. It's just not my, you know, my kind of thing, I guess. Yeah, Albert, I mean, on my playthrough, I've gone through all of it, but that's been by far the most time-consuming thing. I mean, battles with, you know, 7 or 8 units can last half an hour sometimes, just because you gotta sit there mashing click whenever they've only got one high AC unit left and taking it down like 1 or 2 or 3 points at a time, and it's got like 1,000 health, or not health, but units in it. Yeah.
You can handle them, right?
You should have listened to reason.
Random, I'm not sure how the auto resolve works. I don't know how it's applied, but, and this is no exaggeration, I am regularly told that I will lose the fight if I auto resolve it regularly. And then I fight the fight myself and I lose no troops sometimes, and for a lot of them, like, I might lose like 10 troops or less. Like, I almost never lose more troops than I can heal in the infirmary afterwards. And, you know, the game most of the time will have me losing battles that I win without any real losses to speak of.
This is my kind
So
of...
it's definitely needs improvement. I don't suggest using it at all. Yeah, Random, I don't know. I'm not real clear on the actual lore of the Azada, you know, outside of this game and what they are like or are supposed to be like. But here, they're definitely all about life and freedom and nature. I will say that while I do not like the writing very much for the Azada, it's definitely not my thing. The mechanics for the path are really good, and I think it's a pretty strong mythic path to have. I just don't like the writing for it. And if you're getting the devil option as an Azada, the writing for that is a lot better. There's some twists and turns there that I didn't see coming, but I found interesting, and I really like the angle that the devil plays off of the Azada. So I do like that part of it. And I'm sure everybody knows this by now, probably, but you have to choose the Aeon Mythic Path option here whenever you resolve this. And if you don't, you lose the ability to become an Aeon. It's actually this part right here. If you don't choose the Aeon Mythic Path here, then you lose that option. So if you want to be an Aeon, choose this. It could be as simple as that, Albert, that it's just not taking into account your spells and abilities. Maybe that's all that it is. Because I certainly do use spells and abilities whenever I fight. and maybe I couldn't win without them, or if I did, it would be a lot closer. But whatever it is, it's definitely terrible. And as difficult as it is to actually like recruit troops and build an army in the game, constantly losing your troops whenever every time that you fight a battle, just those two things combined to make the campaign battle mechanics terrible, in my opinion. I'll say that I think that the Aeon, at least from playing it in the beta, is possibly the weakest, definitely one of the weakest in terms of mechanics and combat. But I've not actually played the finished version of it yet. I'll also say that I do really like the story of it, even though I haven't completed it all the way through. But what I have experienced of the Aeon story is really good.
What are you doing here? Look, you're already wounded. Pathetic mortal. I'll have no trouble finishing you off now. You'll die anyway.
Well, the Azada is certainly chaotic. Although, in this game, a lot of the chaotic options are just kind of silly or weird. Like, in order to be chaotic, you have to be silly or weird or something. I mean, not all the time, I guess, but a lot of them are like that. But again, I mean, those are kind of minor gripes, though. The overall story and writing and stuff is still really good, and I really like it for the game as a whole.
Your goddess sent.
Did we step on their toes as well?
Yeah. You basically can't lose this battle with the mythic buff that they give you.
My time. This was
I'm actually coming a little closer to it than what I thought I would, but
So this is how it feels.
why is everybody on the ground?
You're irrelevant.
Come on. Oh, just as I say that, it looks like I'm about to lose the battle.
I'll remove this obstacle.
Guess I should have done something besides nothing.
This.
Yep, Albert, from what I've seen of the Trickster story, it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. If you enjoy jokes and pranks and whatnot like that, then memes, I guess, then
The last one.
you'll probably like it. But yeah, the actual, like, writing for it that I've seen, there's not much substance to it. It's just kind of trying to make things as meme-ish as possible, and a lot of it doesn't even hit.
I'll watch your back.
That's nice of you.
Well, then you're gonna have a ball there, Random. Seems like they included that just for players like you. Hey, sorry, I missed your comment there, Matthew. I'm glad that it helped you out. Sounds like you're landing your hits more often and they're doing more damage, so that's awesome.
What curious...
What? Oh, look. Your goddess sent...
Yet another obstacle.
Okay, let's not lose this time.
How are you doing that? Where?
See, I'm not sure what happened last time because that's what I was expecting. You do basically nothing and the battle's over.
Staunton, my darling.
Shut it! Get over here now. Get behind me. If you want to finish her off, you'll have to step over my dead body first. Killing me won't be a challenge, I know. But I can last long enough to give her time to escape.
Let him go.
Yes, I'm here of my...
If you're talking about formations there, Matthew, I want to say it always starts the main character off at the front of the formation, at the front of the formation in the beginning. Or it might just be random, I don't know. But yeah, definitely adjust it. Anytime you adjust the order that your characters are in at the bottom panel of your screen, now it has all your characters' portraits. If you adjust the order that they're in there, it will also switch where they stand at in your formation. So be aware of that.
Kind words. So, you think I... Enough to...
No, my...
Go.
Oh, the story is way better than Kingmaker. So much better. It moves along at a better pace. It feels more epic. Like there's a lot more interesting stuff going on. Kingmaker was really, really slow for the first few acts. And I think that the story is one of Wrath of the Righteous's, definitely one of its strongest points. And in Kingmaker, I would say it was one of the weakest. Or at least that's how I felt about it. Yeah, Nyrissa was not the best villain. There definitely wasn't a whole lot of nuance there. With Arilu, there's a lot more kind of nuance and a lot more interesting things going on. Especially with what she does and why she does it. And I haven't even reached the end yet. You have, so I would imagine by the time I complete the game like you have, that'll be even more so true given what you're saying. The BG, I guess you mean Baldur's Gate 2 of Pathfinder games? I don't know. I'm just hoping that Baldur's Gate 3 isn't the Kingmaker of Baldur's Gate's games.
Make way, warrior queen coming through with
The what I've played of it in beta is definitely promising, but
and I am still
I
Hasn't even been a week
definitely don't
since
like it
last
anywhere
time
near
I
as much as I liked the Wrath of the Righteous beta.
A period of mourning for all the city's fault. One hell of a fight, according to the Beth. All right.
It's simply unforgettable.
While we're on the topic of the roof, night.
Navi,
What do you mean?
well,
I own the days.
I think. Yes, it is I. I made the journey here to deduct the.
Thank you for the.
Calm yourself, Commander. I deliberately came. Oh,
Your Majesty,
Count.
I lived
I'm going to. I that.
not
I shall. I did not.
Okay, that was way too much talking.
The fires of Canobris have died down. Now the army's path leads to the walls of Dresden, a fallen citadel that the Crusaders have been trying in vain to reclaim for 70 years. The new piece on the board might give their efforts some added momentum.
Alright, now we get to go command some armies. My favorite part of the game. Oh yeah. How is my adventure going? Let them know. Hey Albert, I have a question. Did you check to see if you could respec your character once you got to Act 5? Did you ever try to do that or anything? Because I noticed that if you're a swarm that walks, you cannot do that. And I have a feeling that it's going to be that way for all of the late game paths, the dragon, the devil.
Today is a day of sorrow and
I was just
pride.
curious
Sorrow because we
if you
weep
could
for
or not.
our brothers and sisters who perished in Canobris. Pride because despite demonic treachery, our heroes repelled the attack and saved the city. And I am glad the
Yeah, that's cool.
heroes of Canobris
Well, I'm sure you heard me say it earlier. I'm doing the Azada to Devil right now, and I'm definitely enjoying that.
everyone is dismissed. There.
The devil part of it definitely adds some extra flavor and zing to the Azada story. Although I found that a lot of what I read in forums and even one of the videos that I watched on YouTube from a creator that got an early release copy and was explaining how to become a devil. Most of what I've read will say, or at least imply, that it applies to both the Azada and the Aeon path, but the Azadas is actually different from the Aeons, at least in the way that you become a devil. So there are some things that will happen a little bit differently, which actually messed up my run to become a devil at first, and I had to go back because of the differences that I realized were there after a while. That could be. I just know that whenever as a swarm that walks, I was trying to respec because the way I'd built my character to be an Azada didn't really work for being a swarm. And then whenever you try to respec, it actually lets you. But whenever you try to put points into your mythic path, the only path that you have access to is the swarm that walks. And the swarm that walks doesn't have any you know, ranks below level 8 to be able to put your points into. So yeah, I pretty much just lost all my mythic abilities and the ability to be a mythic character. So that was unfortunate. And I'm hoping that on a normal mythic path that won't be the case. You know, because once I reached the end of the game, I really wanted to like respec and try to figure out what works best with whatever path I'm on for combat and for whatever else. Not being able to do that would definitely be a letdown. Okay, then yeah, it's probably just if you change your paths late game, then that'll happen. Anybody else notice that there's a swarm of Vescivores here? Is this always here? Or is my game bugged right now? I don't remember them being here before.
Commander, I'm satisfied with the troop review, but I do not expect they will be sufficient for the task. You will have to prove yourself a shrewd leader and higher than I have chosen one of the famous.
I do not wish.
Hi!
I'm glad to help her.
You'll have plenty of time to talk. You're the Knight Commander's people now, her trusted advisors and companions. Now then, will you please leave us?
Cool,
Illness?
cool.
You can go
Thanks
to
for the info. That's, yeah, kind of what I was looking for there. And I'm sure everybody knows this, but I'm just going to say it anyways. If you're wanting to become a swarm that walks, whenever you get to this part of the conversation with Queen Galfrey, you ask her what she's going to be doing.
Just at the moment.
You
However,
need to say thank you for your reply. If you give her a reason by answering either of the top two options, you give her a reason to join your army, then you can't become a swarm that walks later. So just to let everybody know that, in case you hadn't heard.
A polite attempt to appeal to the I don't know if you realize what you're suggesting, but until we approach Dresden, no one should know I am among you. Splendid. Count, there you are.
I did.
No matter.
It is a great honor, I suppose.
I suppose.
The adequacy I have, especially.
Your luck.
Then let's.
Alright, well, I'm gonna get out of here and go fight a couple of battles out on the campaign trail, I guess. Actually, I suppose I should sell first. Goodbye, mysterious elf. No, nobody using that. Just curious, I'm actually not sure how many people are still here, but Of the people that are still here, what day works best for you as far as having these live streams? I mean, is Friday better, Saturday better, Sunday better, Thursday? I know I tried Wednesday and almost nobody showed up, so I'm thinking Wednesday probably not very good. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm definitely going to be keeping it at night. Most of the people that are here right now are most of the people that have been showing up anyways, so I'd rather do it whenever it's most convenient for everybody. Yeah, yeah, Wooly Ram pointed out to me on Wednesday. I think he was the only person that showed up that day that Wednesday probably wasn't a very good reason. Um, because of people's working. And it seems like he's probably right about that. Ah, okay. Well, that's cool, Albert. So it's pretty late for you, but I'm guessing you're normally up this late because I do see you work or do see you on here a fair amount. I think I'm gonna keep Fridays and Saturdays, and I'm not sure either Sunday or Thursday. Have it like 3 days a week. Hey there, Vedian, or Vedian, whichever way it should be pronounced. Sorry if I'm butchering that, but good to have you with us. Good morning there in Indonesia. Yeah, Albert, I get you. I used to work shift work for about 12 years, and yeah, whenever I was on nights, even whenever I'd be off, I would just kind of keep the same schedule too. It just works that way. So, Vidayan, are you usually available at 9 a.m. there in Indonesia? Or is this an uncommon occurrence for you to be able to get on right now? Alright, so I'm pretty much going to spend most of my gold on resources and buy as many troops as I can here. Just because overwhelming force is definitely the best strategy that I've found. And then I'm going to combine these armies and we'll go out fighting. Actually, I need a general too. What? Oh, okay, yeah. That's good. I think I'm going with Chief Ageboya. Yep, that's who we're taking. Let's go find some demon armies. All right, well, let me start, I guess, with the battle here, since that's where I'm at. So this here is the battle map, and they do give you some tutorials for it, but it's pretty straightforward. Read the tutorials so that you get the basics, but it's not very hard to figure out. But basically, the green squares are where you can move. These numbers up here, the 1, the 2, those are the separations for the rounds. This is the order that the units will get their turns in the rounds. Over here are your spells and abilities that you can use. And you can use one of these, any spell or ability, you can use 1 per round. So if I had another ability here, I couldn't cast Scorching Ray and Cure Light Wounds, or Moderate Wounds, or whatever else I had. And then you just click it and choose who you want to attack with it. Anything that's ranged, like a spell or your archers, can reach anywhere on the battlefield. So you just use the spell. And there we go. We hit them for 13. Attack with the archers, hit them for 1. And I mean, it's pretty straightforward here. I usually like to take out ranged units first whenever I'm in combat, so that way I can keep my archers protected. And that's really all that there is to combat. Once you get up to higher levels, you'll actually replenish units in your infirmary. And this just gives you an overview of losses. Yeah, Albert, I mean, if you get a general with cure spells, then you basically lose no troops in any battle. Yeah, you can just heal through. I mean, you have to be extremely overmatched not to be able to heal through the enemy's damage if you have a healer general. Okay, so whenever you're here on the campaign trail, this is your army. This switches between your party and your army. And over here you can see all of your different armies. You know, you can have 5, 8, 10. I don't think there's any limit to how many armies you can actually have. So you just click on whichever army you want to move. And this right here, this number, the 11, that's your number of movement points that are left. And down here, these are the units that are in your army. This is your general. You can click on info to see stats and whatnot up close. If you switch this around, this will actually change the starting positions of your units at the beginning of combat. So you can set them up however you want. And basically, you're just going to move around on the world map like you would with your party. And whenever you come into contact with either an enemy army, like this here, these are enemy armies, or an enemy garrison, which is what these towers are, then you'll initiate combat, and the two armies will fight, and you can see who wins. If the number here next to the demon army, like if this is green, then it means that you have them pretty well overmatched. You should win pretty easily. If it's like yellowish, orangish, then it's kind of even. But even those are usually an easy win once you figure out what you're doing. And if they're red, then that means that you're pretty well overmatched, and you want to get some more units in your army before you go and try to fight them. And I mean, those are most of the basics. If you want to combine your armies, you can move two armies to the same spot so that they're on top of each other. And you'll get this little double arrow symbol here. And you click on that, and you can combine the armies or switch units back and forth between them. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, there's not much else. Oh, actually, yeah, there is. Up here, you have morale. And you gain morale by defeating armies, winning victories. And you lose morale by losing battles. And once you get to Act 3, the enemy can like take over your forts and stuff like that, which will cause you to lose morale. You know, but as long as you're moving around and, you know, attacking a fair amount, like I've never had my morale drop even down into the yellow. You know, pretty much just keep moving, keep recruiting, keep fighting. And morale's not really a big issue at all. Just the biggest tip that I have is to keep your army's power really high so that you're outnumbering the enemy a lot, and use generals that can heal. So that way you don't have to recruit to replace units lost. And then just keep moving and attacking the weaker armies and powering your army up. I found ranged units to be really good in the beginning. But once you get like midway through Act 3, something like that, you start running into a lot of ranged enemies, and they'll usually target your ranged units, and the ranged units usually die faster. Like they're still good to have, you really need a lot of them, or at least I did. Once you get like partway through Act 3 and you're running into a lot of enemy ranged units, or else your ranged units will pretty much just die right at the start of combat. And right now it's actually a little bit difficult to have ranged units because the enemy is likely to just run right by my foot soldiers, and I can't protect the archers very much. So I definitely want to make sure that I just kill them as fast as I can. Yeah, Albert, I like recruiting another general, a second general. Usually at the beginning of Act 3, because I like to get to Dresden as quickly as possible and just get that over and done with it. And then whenever you get into Act 3, you have a lot more options for troops and whatnot. And then I'll use my secondary general just to go back and clean up all the weaker armies that I'm skipping right now. And they'll get their levels that way. And, you know, my main general that's already leveled because he's already gone through all of Act 2 fighting will go out and fight the stronger demon armies. I don't know why I moved that archer. I should have attacked. Not paying attention. That was definitely not the best move there. Actually, I guess here, there's one more thing I should explain about combat that I should have mentioned earlier. And that is the way that the attack angles work. Like you're moving around here, and whenever you attack, you see where the sword's coming from. That means I'm attacking from the square that I'm on now. But if you want to attack from this angle, you can come and make it point like that, and then you'll move and attack. Or if you want to attack from this square, you can come here and move and attack. If the sword's not showing, then you will just move to this square. But if the sword's showing, you'll move and then make an attack afterwards. And you also do get flanking bonuses in battle, just like you would when you're adventuring. So keep that in mind, that it can be good to have 2 units in melee combat to do more damage. Hey, sorry there, Ivert the Warrior. Yeah, you can... I just saw what you were saying. You can combine 2 different armies together. If you have archers in one army and archers in a second army, then you can take your first army and your second army, and you can combine the archers in them if they are on the same spot on the map. And you can combine them into one troop of archers. So, you know, if you have 40 archers in one, 50 in the other, you can combine them to make one group of 90 archers. Yeah, they have to be the same kind of unit. Hey, Wooly Ram, glad to have you here. Yeah, Warrior, if they're the same unit, like they have the same name, they both say archers, which I'm assuming, then you should be able to combine them. Okay, you see this arrow right here? If you have 2 armies that are in the same spot, like I have these 2 armies now occupying the same spot, you click this arrow here, and you can switch your units between armies. And whenever you go to do that, like if these were archers, I would just switch them over and they would combine here. Or if you have 2 archers that are in the same army, you should be able to just take one and move it over the other, and they should combine. Hey, Matthew, that's all right. I remember whenever I first played Kingmaker, I restarted like 6 times before I finished Act 1, and I'd restarted like 9 times. Like I had over 200 hours before I finished Act 2, just because I could not figure out what I wanted to play and kept on restarting. So, it's all right. I've been there. There's just so many options that it's, you know, hard to choose. One thing I will say is really cool. I haven't done any regular campaign battles in Act 5 with my regular army, I mean. But as a swarm that walks, you get Vescivores and Locusts and, you know, different type of swarm units. And those things are incredibly powerful. Like, you lose the ability to heal, but you don't need to heal. Like, it didn't matter, you know, level 10 army, level 11 army, whatever. Just go up to them and completely destroy them in no time. That's one thing that I really did like a lot about the swarm that walks. Their campaign units are really strong, and the battles got a lot quicker once I got those. I guess I should do my mythic levels, huh? Or mythic ranks. What am I gonna play in this? Yeah, we're going Lich in this one. Yeah. Did they put out another new patch? Or are you talking about the one that came out yesterday morning? Woolly Ram. Also, yeah, hurry up and get home from work so you can play with us. Actually, probably be done before you get home from work, but thanks for joining us anyways. Yes, Albert, absolutely. Those are definitely the two most annoying things in the game for me. I actually just finished going through the Midnight Isles again, which I think I mentioned at the beginning, but maybe you weren't here. And I actually recorded all of it this time, and it's going to take a crap load of editing because, you know, it's like hours and hours of video. But I'm going to try to put out like a walkthrough on that to help people get through there. Because just figuring out how to navigate Alushanira is frickin' really annoying. And that doesn't include some of the quests which require you to do really obscure things. So, yeah, everybody can expect a video out on at least how to get through there, so hopefully it won't be too irritating for you. Oh, cool. Woolly Ram, I didn't know that they'd released a patch just for the Lich. I either downloaded it without realizing it, or haven't downloaded it yet, I guess. What was bugged out on the Lich so that they needed a patch? Do you know? That was my plan, or my first mythic path. That was the plan, but that plan got changed, and I haven't actually played it yet. Hey, Dark Horse, you mean like Conundrum Unsolved and Heart of Mystery? Are those the tile puzzles you're referring to? Yeah, Woolly Ram, you gotta rotate the camera, which once you get used to it, it's not terribly difficult, but it is still slightly annoying. Even once you get used to it, it's still annoying. But before you figure that out, oh my god, like you want to pull your hair out before you figure that out. Yeah, I could just imagine trying to adjust your camera angles and move your characters around while using a controller instead of a mouse and keyboard. Definitely more difficult. Yeah, Dark Horse, they actually changed the way that the tile puzzles work from beta. In beta, you actually, or at least the places where the tile pieces are found. And anyways, because of that, I have not actually gone and solved them again. I was thinking of making a guide specifically for that. If people are interested in it, then that's cool. I'll definitely do that. But I've got to go and find them and figure it out for myself. But yeah, I mean, if people want that, then that might be the next puzzle solution guide I put out. Probably after the how to obtain the Devil Mythic Path and how to and that Midnight Isles walkthrough. But I don't actually know how to solve those yet at this time. It's something I have to figure out. Well, I'm definitely glad that I didn't play a Lich to begin with like I was planning on doing, because that sounds pretty terrible. I still think that the Lich is, or at least will end up being, the best path mechanically. Well, I don't know, maybe not. The most fun path mechanically, I'll say that. Probably not the best. Well, that's pretty terrible, Dark Horse. I know in the beta, you would get skeletons spawning after every single battle, but it would be like 3 skeletons. So you'd have like 15 armies of like 3 skeletons each, and you'd be spending way too much time just trying to move all of your little tiny skeleton armies together to combine them into one. And that was terrible. At least they're not doing that with it again. But it does sound like it could definitely use some fixing if it's that bad. Let's see, Matthew, a good mythic path for a Necromancer? I mean, the Lich seems pretty obvious. But if you don't want to be a Lich, then I don't know. I don't know what other path might be good for a Necromancer. I mean, I guess the Angel, if you want to somehow be a good Necromancer. Or the Aeon, I guess, would work okay, but yeah, maybe the Aeon, actually, because the Aeon does lower your enemy's DCs. So spells like Curse and stuff like that will have a better chance of landing. Maybe that could synergize okay. So maybe an Aeon if you don't want to be a Lich. Yeah, I'm not drinking that. Oh, get out of there before you die. Well, that didn't work as well as I'd hoped. Alright, let's go knock out this drow. That was annoying.
So this is how it feels.
Hey Matthew, no, the Lich isn't really that hard to get. I have a video on the channel about it if you want to check that out. It's actually pretty easy. All you have to do is, at a certain point in the story, you can't even miss it. It's part of the story. You'll end up at a place called Leper's Smile, and there's a cave there that you have to go into. And inside that cave, you'll find a wand. And all you have to do is grab that wand. Like I said, it's actually in the video on the channel. But just grab that wand and then go to the story again. Will take you to the Lost Chapel. The Lost Chapel. You can't miss it as part of the story. And while you are there, once you get to the top area of that map, there will be some stairs that lead down into a basement. And you go in there. And you give the wand to a guy named Zacharias. And that's all you have to do to gain access to the Lich Mythic Path. I mean, it's easy to miss if you don't know about it, but it's really easy to do once you do know about it. Oh, I should have brought Social. I need a freaking cleric.
Together, we stand.
Or even Arenday, an Oracle would be okay. Does she have... Oh, well, at least she does have it. Although it didn't do much. Yeah, I agree, Albert. I would just go with the Lich also. If you really want to be a Necromancer, I think the Lich is the best option. For sure. Well, that's pretty nice there, Albert. Sounds like some good damage. One thing I do like about the Lich Mythic Path and going as a Necromancer, like almost all of your damage spells have guaranteed damage, so it doesn't really matter how high their ACs are or, you know, their saving throws or whatever. You're definitely going to be getting in some good damage. Or some guaranteed damage at least. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like a Bolt of Justice with the Angel is definitely super high powered. I know as an Oracle, you can actually do some really, really good damage as an Angel also. I mean, that's really up to, I guess, Matthew, whatever type of Necromancer Matthew wants to be. I don't know. Personally, I think that the summoning the summoning Necromancer is better for a Lich because you get so many bonuses to your undead summons. And even just to your undead, not even just the summons, to all of your undead. So I personally think that one's more powerful, but if you want to go with the curses and debuffs and that type of Lich, then I think the Aeon is viable for that. but probably the Lich is still better even then, I'm sure. Yes, Hugo, you can definitely ride a dragon as an Azada. Now, when you can start riding that dragon depends, because Avu, which is the dragon, starts out small and then goes medium and then goes large. So, like, if you're a halfling, then whenever Avu turns medium, you can ride the dragon. But if you're a human or an orc or a normal sized, medium sized race, then you have to wait for Avu to become large before you can ride it. And you'll notice here that you actually have to clear garrisons like this before you can pass them with your party. So your party cannot pass a garrison until your army has cleared it. So whenever you come to a block like that, you just grab up your army and go fight your battle and clear the enemy garrison. Also, Yugo, the Azada's dragon has a lot more uses than just being able to ride it. It actually gets a ton of spells, a lot of which are really helpful. A lot of healing spells and stuff, so that your party can stay fully healed all the time. Gets a good breath weapon attack. Has some pretty decent stats. The damage isn't the best, but it isn't bad either. And it can, of course, be ridden in combat, as you were asking. Yeah, Albert, that's why on pretty much... It's also really hard for you to pass your saving throws once you start getting that late in the game. And that's why I like to focus on, like, guaranteed damage spells whenever I'm that late. Ways to make the damage guaranteed. And for my characters, I like to focus on, for feats. Pretty much once I get past level 10... I'll just start scooping up all the saving throw feats, just because without them you'll fail like almost all of your saving throws once you start getting towards the end of the game. There's not really much mind control with necromancy. I think you want enchanting if you're going with mind control. Enchanting, enchanting's the best. Delusion. I guess you could combine enchanting if you want to be a necromancer. Combine enchantment spells like hideous laughter and castigate and hold person, stuff like that. You could combine that with your necromancy spells and go with 2 different schools of casting. That's actually supported really well by the expanded magic arsenal Mythic feat that gives all of your bonuses from one school of magic to a second school of magic, or at least all of your bonuses from feats. So yeah, if you want to focus on mind control, then just take the enchantment spells and use the spell focus feats for enchanting, and then once you get to where you're getting mythic ranks, take the expanded magic arsenal for the necromancy school, because you don't get many good necromancy spells early on anyways. So yeah, you could do that, and then your necromancy spells and your enchantment spells should both be pretty good. All right, and for anybody who doesn't know, at this point, when you have the chance to either help the Hell Knights or not help them, up to you what you do, of course. But if you want to make your campaign easier, help the Hell Knights, because you'll get some Hell Knight units into your army. And Hell Knight units, especially this early on, just mow through enemies like nobody's business. Like, you won't really have to worry too much about improving your army once you get Hell Knights in them. So it is, of course, up to you, but there's definitely a strong reason to help the Hell Knights, at least from a mechanic standpoint or a practical standpoint. Hey, Hugo, that I do not know. Ask Albert. Albert, is there a new game plus? I've not actually completed it yet. I had an issue with the patch deleting some of my, or corrupting some of my save files, and I had to go back and restart whenever I was getting close to the end. So I haven't actually completed the game yet, but Albert has. Yeah, Willie Ram, that's a good point. I mean, protection from protection spells and immunity spells are definitely good. Mind Blank is solid, and precognition. Um, I was just naming a few of the early ones off of the top of my head. Thanks, Albert. I didn't think that there was a new game plus, but I figured I would ask just to make sure, since I haven't actually completed the game. So yeah, sorry, Hugo, no new game plus. Matthew I don't know. Maybe I'm drawing a blank. The new magic class? You mean the Mythic Path becoming a Lich? Is that what you're talking about? Now, I would say that Mirror Image is a really handy defensive spell for, yeah, pretty much the whole game. I mean, as long as they're not throwing out dispels, it pretty much always helps.
You had this funny look on your face back in Canabris when you were watching the poor little kids whose houses.
Here, Matthew, here's the link to that video if you want to go watch it. It'll pretty much tell you just what I said earlier, but this way it gives you a video to reference if you have any questions, because it's not until Act 2 that you actually get a chance to go there and get what you need to get. So it'll probably take you a couple of days to actually get to that part. So just reference that video whenever you need to check it out, and that should explain everything. But the place is Leper's Smile, and you won't actually get there until Act 2.
I do get sad sometimes when I...
Yeah, that's true, Albert. I've seen it. Actually, I'm not even sure that I have seen it. I think that I have, but I can't really remember where. So yeah, I may not have even seen it at all. But as long as they're not using Dispel, like Mirror Image is always handy from whenever you get it at like level 3 or 4 until the end of the game. And so is Displacement's pretty much always handy. Okay. My bad, Matthew. You don't actually have to change classes. If you did want to try what who was it? Dark Horse. What Dark Horse was trying with a Necromancer, which I'm actually not remembering that archetype. But if you do want to try that, just whenever you gain a level, you can put a level into a different class other than the class that you've already picked. So just, find that class and that archetype that you want and put a point into it. And you can go ahead and that'll give you that class and access to that class's abilities instead. But as far as getting enchantments go, all you have to do is just choose enchantment spells whenever you gain a level. Because whenever you gain a level, you'll get the option to choose new spells. At least as long as you stay as an Arcanist. And then whenever you choose new spells, just choose enchanting spells if that's what you want. And whenever you get a chance to choose feats, choose spell focus and greater spell focus for enchantments. And then later on, whenever you reach the whenever you start getting mythic ranks, just take the mythic feat expanded magic arsenal and take that for necromancy, and that will give all the bonuses from your enchantments to your necromancy spells and then you should be effective with both enchantment spells and necromancy spells. Hey, Jonathan, for a dedicated buffer, I mean, probably, I mean, if all you're really wanting to do is buff, then maybe Bard, because you can also use the songs. But if you want healing and stuff like that also, then hands down, Cleric or Oracle. They don't actually get access to the arcane buff spells, though. So you'll also want somebody with access to arcane spells to be able to get things like haste and displacement, stuff like that. You know, but that can be handled by a wizard or an eldritch scoundrel or, you know, any arcane caster in your party. Yeah, thanks there, Woolly Ram. I have a bad habit of doing that. You're not the first person to tell me that. And in my videos, since the first time I was told that, I stopped doing that. But right now, while my attention is divided, I guess I'm just kind of falling back into bad habits and saying it necromancy instead of necromancy. Oh, this guy's gonna be hard. Yeah, I may not actually win this fight. I probably should have gotten more troops. Never mind, I should win it. Yeah. One good thing to do, especially if you're up against a tough enemy in these battles, and they come over and they start attacking you, whoever they're attacking, especially if it's someone who's not going to do a lot of damage anyways, just have them start defending and let the rest of your army deal as much damage as they can. And while these units are defending, it'll take a lot longer for their life to drop. Are you talking about towards the end of the game there, Albert? All right, you're welcome there, Matthew. I mean, you're going to need more than that for your build, but that's a good start that'll get you, you know, through the early game. Yeah, the Blackwater dungeon is really difficult. It's kind of fun though. Like it's really difficult. It is. but it's kind of annoying, I guess, to figure out everything about it. There are some doors in there that I never did get open. And I don't know if I just didn't find it or if maybe those doors are not supposed to be opened. But the battles, at least the last one, I did enjoy. But they're definitely hard. An OP wizard or an OP demon? Well, I guess wherever that is, I must have missed it. I don't know. I know whenever you go through the prison, you do have to fight the guards. Or, not the guards, but you have to fight like an ambush. I remember it being like minotaurs and demons, though. I don't remember a wizard there. And then, other than that, I mean, I remember the Baylor. Oh, I think I do know where you're talking about. You're talking about right after Joran Vane, that locked door, if you let them summon that monster. Yeah, I think that's where you're talking about, right? That is a tough fight, but you get a, don't remember exactly what it is. I think it's a really good ring, maybe? I don't know, I can't remember what it is. But you do get some good loot from that. And here you can kind of see why it takes forever, which I'm distracted, so it's taking even longer. But whenever you come up against these enemies that have a lot of health, and you're just attacking over and over and over again, and it takes you like 2 rounds just to drop the number from 14 to 13. Yeah, that's the one that I was just talking about. I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of lag. If so, I'm sorry. But yeah, the one right after Joran Vane. Yep, I recall where you're talking about now. If you get in there quick enough, you can actually stop them from summoning the demon. But then you don't get the loot, so better just to go in prepared and fight the demon too. I'm actually not even certain if we're going to win this because kind of thinking we're going to lose it. Whenever those rangers go down, he's going to start chewing through the other units. I should have held back and waited for reinforcements. Oh, really, Albert? That I didn't know. In the beta, which is the only time that I stopped the ritual, she didn't use transforming on herself. You just kind of fought her and the other summoners if you stopped it. Yeah, I agree, Kincaid. We were actually talking about that earlier, and I strongly dislike how they've done the combat systems just because of or the Crusade combat system, just because of how ridiculously long some of these fights are. And the worst ones are in the beginning. Like, I had one fight between, like, it was a battle with 4 units in it, and it took me like 450 something turns, but it was in the beginning. Like, later on, they're not that bad, but they are still pretty bad later on. Some of them, anyways. Alright, well, it looks like we are going to win after all. I was beginning to wonder, but yeah, we should definitely be good now. Thought he would be doing a little more damage than he's doing once he got past the Rangers. Hey, Wooly Ram, did you ever make it home? This video ended up, or this session's ended up going longer than I thought, so maybe you're already there. I'll give you that, Albert. The battles for the music for the Crusade battles, you know, it's not bad. Well, the best thing about this, though, is after this battle, we should have Hell Knights in our campaign army before we have to fight another battle, which will make the battles a lot quicker and easier to win. Should be worth sacrificing all of our Rangers and Archers. Aw. Well, that's too bad. That's too bad. Sorry to hear that. You have to work again tomorrow? Or do you get a whole day to catch up on the Crusade then? Yeah, that's a good point there, Kincaid. Not only do the Hell Knights do good damage, but they have extremely good defense. You know, they're definitely your best tanks and your best damage output, at least here for Act 2. Actually, I don't know. You might get Shield Bearers, which might be better tanks. I'm not sure about that. Regardless, they're really good tanks. And they have really good damage output, too. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Thought you worked on Wednesdays, or was this past Wednesday just an anomaly? Well, at least we got some of our Rangers back. Oh, that's definitely better than nothing. Yeah, Albert, I spent a long time whenever you get to Act 3 and that third banner just starts turning red for no reason. I spent a long time going around checking all of my forts one by one, and I was like, man, there must be something here in the interface that I don't understand. Like, that's why I can't find out which fort is, under siege. It's gonna kill my morale, tank my campaign, but no, it was just a bug. Definitely a good thing that is over. All right, everybody. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and call the stream. This seems like a good place to stop. Whenever we pick back up, we'll go ahead and help out the Hell Knights, get them in our army, and then we'll hit up the Nameless Ruins for Ninio's side quest and go to Leper's Smile and see where to get that wand for Zacharias, so you can become a lich if you want. And of course, we'll be taking questions and telling stories and everything else the whole way. So come back and join us. I'll be here again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, Matthew. I totally support people using auto, especially in campaign mode. Nothing wrong with that. If that's your way and it saves you time, then more power to you. All right. Well, y'all have a good night. Thank you for joining me, keeping me some company here. I do appreciate it. This has been Chris with Lorespire. Be well, my friends.